In a warehouse, a worker walked toward the edge of the loading dock to talk to a colleague inside. At that moment, a large truck began reversing toward the dock. Because the worker was standing in the driver's blind spot, he wasn't seen, creating a serious risk of being crushed between the truck and the dock. This incident reminds us how dangerous the blind spots of heavy vehicles can be. Workers should stay clear of truck and equipment maneuvering areas, and drivers must use a spotter when reversing. While working on a routine task along a roadside sidewalk, a group of workers continued their job as usual. Everything seemed normal until one of the workers accidentally stepped backward and bumped into a passing pedestrian. The contact pushed the pedestrian dangerously close to a moving truck. Fortunately, the workers reacted quickly and pulled the person back to safety. This incident shows how crucial attention and sight control are when working near active traffic. Protective barriers, warning signs, and designated pedestrian paths should always be in place. Proper marking and awareness ensure the safety of both workers and pedestrians. A worker was walking past an operating industrial mixer when he bent down to pick up an item from the floor. In that moment, his loose t-shirt caught on the rotating shaft. The fabric wrapped instantly, pulling him toward the machine. This incident is a reminder of how dangerous loose clothing can be around rotating machinery. Clothing, gloves, hair, or any material can get caught and pull a worker in within seconds. Machine guards must be in place. Workers should wear proper fitted garments, and all energy sources should be fully isolated before approaching moving equipment. At a high-rise construction site, a tower crane was lifting a large exterior panel. However, a small industrial machine had been left unsecured on top of the panel. As the panel rose, the extra weight caused the load to become unbalanced. The panel suddenly tilted, and the machine fell, creating a serious hazard below. This incident shows the high risk of uncontrolled loading and improper lifting practices. Cranes should only be used to lift loads that are properly secured, stabilized, and have a controlled center of gravity. No platform carrying people, vehicles, or loose equipment should ever be lifted. An employee was working with a press machine inside the factory. He placed the material, activated the machine, and as the jaws were closing, he quickly tried to load another piece. His hand moved too close to the pressing area and got caught during the ongoing cycle. This incident is a reminder of how critical safety guards and proper operating procedures are on press machines. Hands should never enter the work zone while the machine is running. Safety locks, light curtains, or two-hand control systems must be active. Following procedures instead of rushing protects both productivity and worker safety. A truck was transporting a steel coil. Everything seemed normal during the trip, but because the coil wasn't properly secured, it suddenly shifted forward, rolling toward the cab and striking it. This incident reminds us that heavy loads must always be secured with chains, chocks, or specialized locking systems. Regular inspections before and during transport prevent load shifts, protecting both the operator and the equipment. Small precautions can stop major accidents. At a lumber facility, a forklift was carrying a tall stack of wooden boards. The operator lowered the load near a worker. At first, everything seemed normal, but once the stack touched the ground, it shifted and slid into the worker. Employees rushed to help, but the load was too heavy to move easily. This incident shows why loads should never be lowered without proper stabilization. Workers must not stand near suspended or unstable materials. Forklift operators must ensure the load is secure and that the area is clear. In emergencies, in a maintenance area, a worker was cleaning on top of a tanker. When he extended his cleaning rod upward, it made contact with nearby power lines. The electrical current caused him to lose his balance and fall from the top of the tanker. This incident shows how dangerous it can be to ignore environmental hazards. Before working on top of a tanker or vehicle, nearby power lines must be identified, a safe distance maintained, and conductive tools avoided. A simple environmental check is one of the most effective protections against falls and electrical contact. In a busy work area, a worker was feeding sheet metal into a press machine. The first attempts went smoothly, but when the material shifted, the worker bent down to adjust it. At that exact moment, the machine cycled again, creating a dangerous situation. This incident shows how quickly a risk can develop when someone enters the danger zone of a press machine. Protective sensors, two-hand controls, and emergency stop systems must always be active. Adjustments or maintenance should only be performed when all energy sources are completely locked out, and clear communication must be maintained between operators. In a steel factory, an overhead crane was lifting a large U-shaped metal profile. While the operator was preparing for the lift, a worker stepped in front of the load to check the sling connection. At that moment, the load shifted unexpectedly and tipped, putting the worker in a dangerous position. This incident demonstrates how risky it is to enter the movement zone of a suspended load. Even a few millimeters of movement from a heavy metal piece can create massive force. Any control or connection task should only be done when the load is fully stabilized and with direct visual communication with the crane operator. In a factory, another worker was preparing to unload a bag of material into an industrial mixer. While lifting the bag, he moved too close to the machine, and the rotating mechanism began to pull him in. This incident shows why maintaining a safe distance and full control around active machinery is critical. Mixers and similar equipment should be completely stopped before loading materials, and whenever possible, lockout-tagout procedures should be applied. In the steel loading area, coils were being transported and positioned. Due to a slight slope, one of the coils started to roll. A nearby worker instinctively tried to stop it with his hands, but the coil's weight and momentum were far too great. This incident reminds us that rolling coils are too heavy and dangerous to stop by hand. The correct method is to use chocks, coil restraints, and mechanical handling equipment. Workers must maintain a safe distance whenever a coil can move, and should never step in front of its path. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more workplace safety videos.